Hi, I'm Ashley Kading. Today I want to share with you some potential solutions that I found for the retirement home project. So just to give you a little recap on what this project is for, we're looking for a suitable home for the client to purchase and move into once they retire, which is in about 9 years. And we're looking to meet hopefully all of the client's needs. If not all, we're hoping that we can meet most of them. So just to review kind of what the owner is looking for, they would like a home with a private beachfront that's in a European-based, a location with a European-based government that has a well-established expatriate community, and they would like to be about 14 hours from the U.S., so a 12-hour flight and 2 hours from the airport. They're planning on having quite a few visitors, so they would like to have a separate space for those visitors to stay, an open floor plan to fit everybody, and then lots of nice windows and sliding glass doors to look out onto their beach access. They'd also like to make sure that they have a good outdoor space for grilling, gardening, and their dog, as well as a carport and some storage for all of their beach accessories. And as far as town location, they'd like to have easy access to a small town with lots of amenities and restaurants, and then be within about 3 hours of hiking areas. So just to look at some of the things that they would accept in a home, they would remodel some, but they don't want to do a lot of remodeling. They would like community activities with other community members, but it would be okay if there's not very many. The budget that they're looking at is $350,000 to $450,000. They would like to have that private beachfront property, be in a location with a European-based government, low-level crime, and a well-established expatriate community. They'd like to have that open floor plan to fit about 8 to 10 people in the main living areas. And then they would like to have many large windows and doors looking out onto the beach, and then having that nice outdoor space for grilling, gardening, and their dog. And then again, they'd like to be within easy biking access or potentially walking access to those small town amenities. They'd like the home to have a carport and then storage for those beach items and be within 3 hours of those hiking locations. Some of the other things that I believe they'd be okay with are they had asked for a 12-hour flight from the U.S. and a 2-hour drive of the airport, which would be 14 hours total. So some of the things that I had found, I was looking for really 14 hours of travel time total, whether that be in flight or drive time. And then another thing that I believe they'd be okay with is that they would like a separate studio for visitors, but if there are extra bedrooms and space in the house for them, that would be okay too. So getting into some solutions, the first solution that I found is a home in Portimao in the Algarve region of Portugal. So it's in the southern part of Portugal, and this region has a really well-established expatriate community and also a retirement community. It has low-level crime, and really Portugal is ranked as the 17th safest country in the world, so overall the crime here is very limited wherever you go. And getting into some of the details, this location does have 2 villas on the property, and it has about 1 kilometer of white soft sand and tropical beachfront there. The property is $408,375, so it falls about in the middle of their budget. As you can see in the picture here, it already has a well-kept garden, a nice area for barbecue, and that large yard for the dog, looking right out onto the beachfront. And the closest town is just a few minutes, so easy bike ride, and there's lots of access to shops, markets, and restaurants. The property also has private parking and a Wi-Fi network. So the first villa has an open layout, and you can see in this middle picture here that it's got many doors and windows, and they all open up so that you can get that nice airflow in there. In the first picture, you can also see that there are many private balconies. So that first villa has 3 bedrooms. All of them have private balconies and 2 full bathrooms. The second villa has 4 rooms. all with private balconies and 2 full bathrooms as well. Both villas are fully equipped with kitchens, and they've both been recently renovated and updated with modern amenities and styles. So the owners have 2 great options for themselves and also for their visitors. The home is located within easy driving distances of some great hiking locations, less than an hour from the Castillejo Environmental Trail, less than half an hour from the 7 Hanging Valleys Trail, and about an hour and a half from the Don Quixote Trail. And those are just to name a few. There are many other ones. And there's also many community events as well. So just this weekend there are 3 different events, including a beach cleanup effort. So lots of things to get all of those community members involved and getting to know each other. So looking at which criteria it meets and which ones it doesn't meet, it really meets all of their criteria except for the drive to the airport. So it's a 10-hour flight to get from Chicago to Lisbon, and then it's about a 2.5-hour drive from Lisbon to this home. So about a half an hour drive longer than they would like, but the flight is 2 hours less. So overall they're still spending less travel time than the 14 hours that they were really looking for. So getting into some alternates, after that first house it got pretty tricky. So looking for alternate 1, I have 2 to show you, so we'll start with this one, and this one is located in Nazaré, Portugal, which is the initial location that I was looking for houses to start with. This is a great region. It has a very well-established expatriate community and retirement community, and also has that low-level crime that most of Portugal has. So the location is only 1,500 meters from Salgado Beach. So it doesn't have its own private beach, but it is located in a condominium. So the beach access is pretty restricted to just those residents. It has 1 villa on the property, and the villa has 3 floors and 3 bedrooms. So while there's not a separate studio for the visitors, there are those separate floors and bedrooms to give them their own space. The price on this property is only $357,195, so it's really at the lower end of their budget. It has its own little outdoor space where you could have a small garden, and it also has some really nice balconies. And then as you can see in this far right picture, there's a nice large yard and barbecue area that is shared with the condominium. And in the condominium there are 14 villas, so not a lot of residents that would be sharing that location. There are also 2 swimming pools that are shared close to that large yard area. The house is only a few minutes, so another easy bike ride to access the town that has shops, markets, restaurants. And this house is located about an hour and a half from that Lisbon International Airport, and then the 10-hour flight. There are lots of hiking places within easy access. One that I found about an hour and a half, 45 minutes away is Serra de Lusa, and it has a lot of different hiking trail options. And currently, with COVID-19, there are a lot of restrictions in place in Nazaré, and there's not a lot of activities going on. But the reports that I had read and other expatriates who had written some nice reviews on Nazaré have shared that there typically are a lot of different community activities and markets going on all the time, and lots of points of interest to see while you're there. So looking at what it offers and doesn't offer, really the things that are missing are that separate studio for visitors and that private beach area. But as I mentioned earlier, that the beach access that it does have is pretty limited to just the residents in that condominium, so not a lot of people would be using that space. And while it doesn't have the separate studio, there are 3 floors in the house and extra bedrooms, so those visitors still can really have their own space. So getting into the second alternate, it's also located in Nazaré, and it's close to that same Salgado Beach. and then the Bay of São Martinho de Porto. And this villa has 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 balconies, and a very open basement. So again, while there's no separate studio for visitors, there are separate floors, bedrooms, and that whole open basement to really give them their own space. The price on the property is only $342,000, so it's actually under their budget. As you can see in the first picture here, it has a really nice outdoor space that they could use to have the garden, the dog. There's also a pool in the backyard, a nice barbecue area, and a carport. So it's still located just a couple minutes from the town center, so an easy bike ride or even a walk to get to those shops, markets, and restaurants. And again, it's in that same Nazare location, so about an hour and a half from the airport, and lots of great hiking locations close by. So this home meets most of the requirements. Really, again, it's missing that separate studio apartment and that private beach access. So it is very close to the beach, but doesn't have its own beach. But as far as the separate studio, there are extra bedrooms, there are extra floors, there's a whole open basement. So really there's a lot of space that could be used to really give those visitors their own area while they're there to stay. So overall, I think there are 3 great options. Just kind of depends on what the owner is willing to compromise on a little bit, and hopefully we can make one of these great options work.